Do you have kids and forget that they're here to teach you something too? We sometimes get caught up in our own lives and forget that kids have something to teach us too. Just like with Church Street Brewing Company, a son's interest turned into a parent's hobby, which then turned into a brewery right here in Itasca. So let's listen in into the owner of Church Street Brewing Company and find out a little bit more about how this place came to be.
My name's Lisa Greger, and I own Church Street Brewing Company. It was actually our oldest son. He was home brewing in college and came home and said he thought his dad needed a hobby and he'd really like brewing beer. He showed up at his grandmother's house at Thanksgiving with a book about brewing, and he kept showing it to me, and I was like, what are we talking about here? And finally figured it out. So we got his dad home brewing equipment for Christmas. He made a recipe for him, and they made beer on Christmas Day, and Joe was kind of hooked at that point. The thing I remember, this is when we first started. We ordered all the beer equipment. It was Christmas time, and it came in June, and we were waiting for it to arrive, but none of us knew what to expect. So my husband, of course, was on a business trip when all the equipment arrived, and we had to get all of this entire 40-foot containers worth of equipment off within 2 hours, I think, and how to unhook everything and then drag it off, and then we had all these vessels lying sideways around the brewery. I think from when we first started, we thought we were just going to be a production brewery and not have anything to do with a tap room or serving beer on premise. Before we actually got started up, we were thinking differently, but I would have planned for a tap room from the very beginning. So we just had a small little space thinking, we thought 3 or 4 people, that tap rooms were not big, that was not really a thing back in 2012. We thought, well, who's going to come back here? 5 or 10 people, a night, tops. So if we have room for 20 or 25, then that'll be great. And we've needed more room almost from the get-go. Business, I'm most passionate about, I think the people who work here, everybody that works here is really, really special. So just trying to do best by my employees and make sure that they're happy and feel like they have things to do, things to grow into and stuff, so that we can just keep growing as a business. We were originally going to be in Addison on Church Street. That's where the name comes from, and that people ask that all the time. And that didn't quite work out. And when we got here, it was on Industrial Drive. We thought it was great because we're less than a mile from our house, but Industrial Drive Brewing didn't sound very good. As far as beer and our beer, we have an enormous selection, and we can find something that almost anyone would like to drink. So please come by, even if you don't think you're a beer drinker. We also have seltzers now, so even more. We have things for almost everybody to drink. Also, we're a pretty good event venue. We don't charge room fees. We just have you pay for the beer when you come in that you drink. And so it makes it a nice place to have a small gathering without having to pay a room fee and then everything else on top of it.